Let me talk to you quietly for a second, because this part isn't meant to be loud. There's a moment you probably experienced, but never really named. It's when you stop texting first. Not to punish, not to manipulate. You just pause. You don't disappear. You don't make an announcement. You simply stop leaning forward. And suddenly, the dynamic feels different. You're not angry. You're not trying to win. You're just tired of carrying the emotional weight alone. What's strange is what happens next. The avoidant notices, not because you pulled a move, but because the emotional pressure they've been sensing quietly vanished. And that's the part most men don't understand. They think avoidance chase when you withdraw. They don't. They respond when you stop needing the outcome. This is deeply uncomfortable for men who are raised to believe that consistency, clarity, and effort are what make relationships work. You're not interested in games. You don't want to become cold or distant. You just want to be respected, chosen, and met halfway. So when someone starts moving toward you only after you stop trying to hold things together, it creates a conflict inside you. Why does it feel like caring less makes them care more? Most advice online tells you to act uninterested, to delay replies, to manufacture distance. But that's not what actually shifts the dynamic. And you can feel that instinctively, because the moment you fake indifference, you lose something important, yourself. What this video is about is not manipulation. It's not strategy. And it's definitely not about chasing someone into wanting you. It's about one internal shift you make once, a shift that removes emotional pressure without removing your integrity, a shift that changes how the avoidant experiences you, not because of what you do, but because of who you are being. And here's the controversial part. When an avoidant starts chasing, it's not always a compliment. Sometimes it's a signal. And if you don't understand what triggered it, you'll mistake attention for alignment. This video will help you see the difference. Clearly, calmly, and without games. Before we talk about what to do, let's sit with what you probably felt. You didn't demand anything. You didn't rush the relationship. You just started showing steady emotional interest. And somehow, that's when things shifted. The replies slowed. The warmth cooled. The distance quietly expanded. This is where most men get confused, because from your perspective, leaning in emotionally feels natural. It feels honest. It feels like clarity. But for avoidance, emotional leaning doesn't register as connection. It often registers as pressure, not because you did something wrong, but because their nervous system interprets emotional closeness differently. When you lean emotionally, by being consistently available, emotionally attuned, or subtly orienting your life around a connection, the avoidance system senses a future expectation forming, even if you never voice it. Even if you never ask for more, that expectation doesn't feel romantic to them. It feels like a loss of autonomy. Avoidants are highly sensitive to emotional gravity. They feel when someone's emotional center starts orbiting the relationship. And the moment they sense that, their instinct is to create space, not to hurt you, but to regulate themselves. Here's the key point men often miss. Avoidants don't pull away because they lack interest. They pull away because interest starts to feel like responsibility. Your presence becomes something they feel they need to manage. Your consistency becomes something they feel obligated to respond to. And obligation is the fastest way to trigger distance for someone wired to protect independence. This is why doing more rarely works. More reassurance, more patience, more understanding. Each added layer of emotional effort increases the pressure their system is trying to escape. Now here's the controversial part, and it's important you hear it calmly. Leaning emotionally is not wrong, but leaning toward an avoidant changes how they experience you. The moment your emotional state becomes affected by their availability, they feel it, not logically, physiologically, and their response is often pulled back just enough to restore their sense of control. This isn't manipulation, it's regulation. So when men ask, why do they start chasing only after I stop trying? The answer isn't that pulling away creates desire. It's that stopping emotional leaning removes pressure. And pressure, not distance, is what was pushing them away. Understanding this is a foundation for everything that follows. Because once you see that avoidants respond to emotional weight more than emotional effort, you stop trying to prove value, and start protecting your center. That's where the dynamic actually changes. Let me say this slowly, because this is where most men misunderstand what's actually happening. You don't remove pressure by pulling away. You remove pressure by recentering yourself. That may sound simple, but it's not easy. Pressure doesn't come from how often you text or how close you sit. It comes from where your emotional weight is resting. When your emotional stability depends, even slightly, on how the avoidant shows up, they feel it, and that feeling activates their instinct to create space. The shift is internal, not behavioral. It's the moment you stop monitoring the connection to regulate how you feel. You stop checking in with yourself based on their tone, their timing, their availability. You return your emotional center to your own life, your own rhythm, your own sense of direction. From the outside, nothing dramatic changes. But from the inside, everything does. You're still present, but not leaning. You're still interested, but not waiting. You're still open, but not seeking reassurance. This is what removes pressure without creating distance. Avoidants don't feel suffocated by closeness. They feel suffocated by emotional dependence. And the moment that dependence dissolves, their nervous system relaxes. Here's the part most men don't want to accept. You cannot convince an avoidant to feel safe. You can only stop being a source of pressure. When you recenter, your energy becomes steady instead of anticipatory. You're no longer emotionally hovering. You're no longer adjusting your mood to protect the bond. And that steadiness feels different to them. Lighter, freer, easier to approach. This is why avoidants often re-engage after someone lets go. Not because they were manipulated, not because they were made to miss you, but because the relationship no longer feels like something they must manage. And this shift isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about caring without tying your sense of self to the outcome. When you're centered, you respond instead of react. You engage without urgency. You allow space without fear. That emotional posture communicates something powerful without a single word. I'm here by choice, not by need. Avoidance can feel that immediately. And here's the important clarification. If removing pressure causes them to move closer, it means pressure, not incompatibility, was the issue. If nothing changes, it means clarity has arrived. Both outcomes protect you. Because the goal was never to make someone chase. The goal was to stop losing yourself while trying to connect. And once you make this shift once, you don't unlearn it. You carry it into every relationship that follows. There's a quiet difference avoidants feel before they ever act on it. It's the moment they realize they're no longer being emotionally tracked. No one is waiting. No one is subtly leaning in. No one is organizing their inner world around whether closeness happens or not. And that absence is noticeable. Internally, something settles. The constant low-level alertness eases. The need to manage distance loses urgency. The background tension, often unnoticed, drops just enough for awareness to come online. They start feeling instead of bracing. When you stop needing the outcome, your emotional energy changes. It becomes self-contained, grounded, non-intrusive. And avoidants are highly sensitive to that shift. They don't analyze it. They feel it in their body. Without pressure, their internal dialogue slows. There's less internal negotiation about how close is too close. Less scanning for expectations. Less fear that closeness will require them to perform, reassure, or commit prematurely. This creates space. In that space, curiosity can appear. Not anxiety-driven curiosity, but natural attention. They begin to notice you again, not as someone wanting something from them, but as someone standing in their own emotional integrity. That's unfamiliar and oddly compelling. They may feel more present, more open, less guarded, not because they decided to change, but because their system no longer feels pushed or pulled. And with that comes a subtle internal conflict. Part of them relaxes into the ease. Another part becomes aware of the risk of caring. When you stop needing the outcome, you're no longer signaling urgency. And urgency is what avoidants often mistake for danger. Without it, closeness feels less like a trap and more like a choice. This is where the dynamic flips internally. They may feel drawn, not because they're chasing validation, but because they finally have room to feel desire without pressure attached. Desire can't exist where obligation dominates. And obligation disappears when no one is leaning emotionally. Importantly, this doesn't create certainty for them. It creates awareness. Awareness of what they feel when control isn't required. Awareness of whether they want to move closer when nothing is demanded. Awareness of whether the connection exists without effort being applied on their behalf. And that awareness is uncomfortable, but honest. For you, this is where clarity emerges too. Because when you stop needing the outcome, you're no longer interpreting their behavior through hope. You're observing it through grounded presence. You're not waiting for signs. You're seeing reality. And that reality tells you everything. Either there's movement toward you that feels natural and unforced, or there isn't. In both cases, you're no longer suspended in uncertainty. You're standing in your own emotional authority. And that's the shift that changes how they feel. Not because you tried to, but because you finally stopped carrying the weight alone. Let me be direct here, without being harsh. Most men don't lose avoidance because they care too much. They lose them because they turn self-respect into strategy. The moment you hear that pulling back works, it's tempting to perform it. You start timing responses. You calculate silence. You withhold interest, not because it's authentic, but because you're hoping for reaction. And the problem isn't that avoidance notice. It's that you lose your center. What started as an internal shift becomes performance. And performances create anxiety, not grounding. Avoidants feel that too. The energy doesn't feel calm. It feels controlled. Here's the calm criticism men need to hear. If your behavior changes just to get someone to chase you, you're still emotionally leaning. You've just flipped the direction. You're no longer anchored in yourself. You're anchored in the outcome. That's not strength. That's disguised dependency. The wake-up advice is simple and uncomfortable. Stop trying to create desire. Start protecting your emotional integrity. A grounded man doesn't manipulate distance. He notices when he's losing himself and recenters. He doesn't disappear to be missed, and he doesn't stay to be chosen. He shows up as himself and lets the response tell the truth. This requires maturity. It means being okay if nothing changes. It means accepting that if someone only wants you when you're strategically unavailable, they're responding to tension, not connection. And here's the truth most men avoid. If you have to game someone into chasing you, you will always be managing the relationship. That's exhausting. And it never leads to security. When you stop performing, the dynamic either deepens honestly or dissolves cleanly. Both outcomes protect your dignity. That's the wake-up moment. Not to become colder, not to become distant, but to become internally solid enough that you no longer need to provoke interest to feel chosen. That's where real stability begins. There's a moment that feels validating and dangerous at the same time. It's when the avoidant reaches out, when the energy shifts, when you feel seen again. And if you're not grounded, you'll misread what's happening. An avoidant starting to chase doesn't automatically mean they've healed, chosen you, or are suddenly ready for depth. What it means is simpler and more important. It means the emotional pressure is gone. They're responding to freedom, not to loss, to space, not a strategy, to the absence of expectation, not to desire being created. This is where men often rush in and undo everything. The attention feels good. It confirms something inside you. So you lean again, you reinvest, you emotionally reach, and the cycle resets because the internal shift that changed the dynamic wasn't maintained. Here's the grounded truth. Chasing from an avoidant is not the goal. Sustained mutual presence is. If their interest only exists when you're emotionally detached, that's not connection. It's regulation. They're engaging because it feels safe, not because it feels committed. This is where discernment matters. A healthy shift looks like consistency without pressure, effort without urgency, presence without pursuit. It feels calm, not volatile, stable, not reactive. Anything else is just the old pattern resurfacing in a new form. The real test isn't whether they move toward you. It's whether you stay centered when they do. Do you abandon your boundaries? Do you over-accommodate? Do you start managing their comfort again? Or do you remain steady, open, honest, and self-directed? Because the moment you lose your center, the dynamic collapses. Here's the final truth men need to hear. An avoidant chasing you is meaningless if you have to shrink to keep it. The real power isn't in being wanted. It's in being able to walk away without resentment if what's offered isn't enough. When you hold that internal posture, any chasing that happens becomes secondary. You're no longer reacting to attention. You're evaluating alignment. And that's the difference between repeating a pattern and finally breaking it. Here's the calm but uncomfortable truth most men don't want to hear. If someone only moves toward you when you stop wanting them, the problem was never your effort. It was a dynamic you were participating in. Avoidants don't suddenly change because you did something clever. They respond when emotional pressure disappears and authenticity replaces pursuit. And the moment you understand that, the focus shifts away from trying to be chosen and back toward choosing yourself. This isn't about winning someone over. It's about becoming steady enough that you no longer need to. If this video stirred something in you, confusion, recognition, even resistance, I want you to sit with that. And if you're willing, share your experience in the comments. Not theories, not advice, just what this pattern has felt like in your own life. You're not weak for wanting connection. You're not wrong for trying. But growth begins when you stop abandoning yourself to keep someone else comfortable. If you stayed until the end, you and I are already having a deeper conversation than most people ever do. And that matters more than chasing ever will.